When do the Pittsburgh Steelers draft a quarterback? Do we take one in the first round, man?
Is somebody even going to be there for us to take in the first round? Do we move up? Do we move back? I don't know.
Second question, how many wide receivers do we take in this draft?
Minimum 3. With all them damn picks and where we got them, a minimum of 3.
1, 2, 3, wide receiver?
If that's the way it falls, then damn it, that's the way it falls.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Steelers Almighty Draft Lab.
Analyzing the gridiron gold, Steelers Almighty locked and loaded. Draft Lab running hot, championship code decoded.
What's cracking, y'all? Good to see y'all. First inaugural show live on Steelers Almighty, the Draft Lab. A show that Big B and me done switched seats. He done put me in the driver's seat. He's over there in the passenger seat. I get to lob it up to him all day and all night. You know, it's a new series. It's a 13-week launch for the 2026 NFL Draft. The mission of this show that you're going to see here live on Steelers Almighty is to evaluate every position group, find out what the Steelers' needs are, and actually do the draft that Omar Khan and Andy Waddle should do to bring in the right players for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to do a roadmap. We'll go position by position over the next few weeks. We'll actually have 3 mock drafts on this show. So we'll have the initial one today. We'll have one in the mid-series, and then we'll have a post-mock draft because by then, all the evaluations will be out and Senior Bowl and all the stuff you know is going to happen. We're going to check in every week because you know I get to ranting, and I got to check with Big B because he going to rant too and go off a couple of times and be like, gee, I thought it was my time to go off. You know, I thought it was my show, you know. And don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe to the Steelers Almighty podcast channel. Man, this show is growing. This channel is growing, but we cannot grow without you guys. There's merchandise available on Steelers Almighty every week, but make sure you like, follow, share, and subscribe, especially if you're going to like the Draft Lab show with me and my boy Big B getting down every week. Man, before we get started, I got to say, man, what's cracking, Big B? What's going on with you, bro?
I am good, man. I am excited about this series. I'm excited for everybody out there to enjoy the content and more importantly, to comment and give us their thoughts on what they think, not just on what we're saying, but what they actually think the Pittsburgh Steelers should do. Because like I said, the Steelers got a lot of holes, but I've said it before. I'll be saying it constantly throughout this series. The Steelers have 2 things on how you build a roster. They got draft picks and they got money. So now, as long as we have the right people in place, which that can be a different conversation, and maybe we get into that too down the road. But when you got picks and money, you can turn your fortunes around immediately, people.
Yeah, that's absolutely big facts. You know, and we don't have to suck. Like everybody has been saying and thinking that we're just going to be horrible and we're going to be terrible. We're not. Because we have those things available to turn it around. I know we haven't got a coach yet and all that. We'll get into that, right? But we're going to talk draft player evaluation, and specifically what holes the Pittsburgh Steelers have, and what names to watch, what names not to watch, who to look out for. And, you know, we're going to have some bias in there because we can't do a show on Steelers Almighty without me and Big B being big bias. So there's got to be some bias going on about who we want to get. All right, so for the initial show, we're not going to go directly into the draft right off the bat. We got a couple of quick topics we got to cover. First topic is, B, if you had to estimate today, 22-man starting lineup, how many starters do the Pittsburgh Steelers replace for 2026?
Well, let's see. On offense, quarterback, if it were up to me, both wide receivers. so that's
Facts.
3. Then definitely a left guard. And then, you know what? I'm never a hypocrite. I talk about competition at every level. We need competition at left tackle. But maybe the competition is between Cook and Broderick Jones. Maybe Dylan Cook and Broderick Jones, there's the competition. So if you count that, get 5 that we have to replace on offense. Yes. On defense, Depending on what scheme the new coach has, but let's just say it's the exact same scheme that we have right now. I don't think it will be, but let's just
Mhm.
say that it is. We need a new linebacker, that's for sure. Um,
Facts.
I don't think whether you want to keep TJ Watt or not, replacements are behind him.
Mhm.
So we'll just say that they keep TJ Watt for now. But
Mhm.
we definitely need a new linebacker, and we need a starting corner, whether that's James Pierre, Asante Samuel Jr., a draft pick. So it's hard to say what the Steelers are going to do with that.
Mhm.
So I, I just don't know what they're going to do. But let's just go ahead and say corner, and we need a new safety because we can't keep Jalen Ramsey. Not at that price. There's no
Absolutely.
way we can keep Jalen Ramsey at that price. So I would say 8
Yeah.
as of right now. 8 starters the Steelers have to replace,
That,
and that
that I mean,
number could go up.
yeah, that's a great number to start with. And I think for this being our inaugural show, that is a great number to start with because we're talking reality. One
Yeah,
thing that we do here on Steelers Almighty is we're going to give you the hardcore facts, whether you like it or not. We're not going to and we're not going to backtrack on stuff. So we're going to make statements. Now, of course, with more information, stuff can change. But however, this is where we are at, Steelers fans. This is where we're at, Almighty Chat. This is where we're at. We are at a place where we're going to transition from the old to the new. So eight's a great number. Eight's a great number, B. All right, I got another question. Another quick question, right?
Mhm.
What do you think would be a name that you would watch for in free agency that the Steelers might aggressively go after? Because remember, we got draft picks and we got capital. So we got
Well,
both things.
um, I just let me look up some stuff here,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's part of all of this. And a lot of people are saying, Malik Willis, and
Mm,
the other people are saying that, Mac Jones.
yeah.
For me, I was the same as last year. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the Steelers need to look interior offensive line. That's where I would look to replace the left guard with somebody. Now, again, we'll have to do a lot of research in figuring that out, but there's some left guards that are going to be available. I think the Steelers need to do their due diligence and try to find somebody. Now, again, it doesn't have to be somebody that's super old or anything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I just think the Steelers left guard is going to be a position of need. The last
Mm-hmm.
time that we needed to fill the left guard position, we went out in free agents and we got Isaac Siamalu.
Yeah.
So the Steelers need to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can bring in a rookie. I'm not opposed to bringing in a rookie,
Mm-hmm.
but we talk all the time about spending money on the offensive side of the ball. Well, why not spend it on your offensive line?
Yeah.
Again,
Facts.
the Steelers are not paying anybody on the offensive line like second contract money. So
Mm-hmm.
at some point, get the best guy that you can get. But that's where I would go. I don't know that I necessarily have a name, but that's the position that I would look at to replace with free agency. That would be left guard.
Yeah. Out of the mouth of Big B to the heavens. We're talking priority, what needs to happen for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Absolute straight up facts, man, that need to happen occur here. All right, B, we're going to go through our real rundown, man. We'll talk about this maybe at the initial draft show, somewhere in the middle, right before we get to the mid show, and of course the finale of the draft show. So we're talking about alerts here, man. Alerts.
Mm-hmm.
5 being the highest, low being one being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Where are we at for position alert for quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
You said 5 was the highest?
Yeah, yeah.
5.
Yeah.
5. I mean, we don't have a quarterback. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
everybody wants to scream and just hand the job to Will Howard. Oh, he's the future. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what other position have the Pittsburgh Steelers just handed a job to a 6th-round pick? Just name
Mm.
one where they
Mm.
just said, after them not playing a snap, have the
Mhm.
Steelers just said, you know what? Here is 6th-round pick. We're just going to give this guy the job with no competition. Matter of
Mm.
fact, take the Steelers out of that, G. What other franchise do you know that
Mm.
at any position without seeing them play a football game or practice in anything where they just say, you know what? We're going to hand the job to a 6th-round pick without any competition. Nobody does that. Again, you give people an opportunity to win the job. Yes. But I know everybody wants to bring up Tom Brady when it comes to that. Tom Brady didn't win the job in an offseason. Tom Brady won the job because Drew Bledsoe got hurt and he got an opportunity and then he outplayed him. That's how he won the job. You know, and then people want to talk about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, matter of fact, they had Trey Lance that 49ers traded 3 draft picks to get.
Yeah.
Trey Lance wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy went to the NFC Championship game, and they still made him compete for the job with Trey Lance and Sam Darnold the next year. They didn't just hand him the job. So that's all that most sane people are saying is just make the guy earn it. You're not just handing it to him. And if he wins the job, he wins the job. But you're not just saying hand over the job to a 6th-round pick. No, G, no.
Yeah. B, I'm with you 100%. And for all, listen up, Yinzies. Let's be perfectly clear. The quarterback is a high priority for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm quite sure if I would have said, B, go to 10, B would have probably said 12. Because something in my mind was telling me when I said 5, he was like, what do you mean 5? I'm talking 10. Where are you at, dude? So, but just to keep it in and just say, okay, well, this is where we're at. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right, B. All right, B, running back room. Where we at? 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. 1.
Yeah, 1. We don't need, I mean, especially if they can get Kenneth Gainwell back. But even if they can't, Steelers should be, I mean, they got Caleb Johnson. Whether he can play or not, that's a different conversation. But there's running backs in this draft the Steelers could get. There's free agent guys out there. It's not a need, right, for the Steelers right now. Again, predicated on getting Gainwell back. But even if you can't, you got Jaylen Warren. There's no pressing need. You need a guy, don't get me wrong, but it's a 1 for me.
Yeah, facts, man. Facts. And listen, this will make a lot of sense as we go into the draft about how we picked. Because we're looking at priorities because you don't go in blind. I mean, all these people out there that's doing all these mock drafts. I know a guy today that's done 100 mock drafts. And I'm like, where do you have the time to do that and actually do the research? But the Steelers we can get Fernando Mendoza. What? No. Stop it. That's not how this thing works. So that's why we have to prioritize the rooms. All right. Yeah. B, wide receiver. Where are we at, man?
50.
Alert.
50. My God. I've said it a million times. Steelers got to rebuild the entire room. They got to rebuild the whole room. You know, DK, no more guaranteed money. And I've said this. The Steelers should give DK Metcalf some guaranteed money. They just need to restructure it so it's cap friendly to us and say, yes, we will give you some more guaranteed money, DK. But that number of $33 million, no. That's going to be way less than that. I'm sorry. You played yourself into that, and now that's what we're going to do. But DK Metcalf is not a number 1 receiver. And we've seen that. He's not a number 1. He is at the top of the food chain when it comes to number 2 receivers. That's where the Steelers need to find. They also need a number 3. If you want to give Roman Wilson another chance, I think that was either coaching, quarterback just didn't trust the man. Okay, give him another opportunity, but we need to rebuild the room. No more Scotty Millers, no more Adam Thielens, although I know he's retired. No more MVSs. Go get receivers, for crying out loud.
Big facts, man. Absolute big facts, man. Y'all, listen, this content is unbelievable already, and we just getting started. So make sure you tune in because we're going down the list, bro. Tight end room, B. Where we at?
To be honest, I think we're at a 1. The Steelers just got to use the guys that they got and use them right. Like, we don't need – I mean, there's nothing wrong with Pat Freiermuth. He just wasn't used right. And if we're all being honest, there's really nothing wrong with Jonnu Smith. People are mad at Jonnu Smith for what he did, but Jonnu Smith, what he was being asked to do, that's not his fault. You know, Jonnu Smith was a Pro Bowler the year before because play action pass over the middle of the field, seam routes. How many times did the Steelers even do that? You know,
0.
not to even mention Darnell Washington.
Mhm.
So to me, it's a low priority because the Steelers have the guys. They just got to get somebody who's actually going to use the guy.
Mhm. Agreed, man. Agreed. And like you said, and I don't know, even whoever the coach is, I don't know if John Smith fits this system. So he's the priority. If I could go zero, even though I set the parameters of 1 and 5, zero would be would be the deal because I think we have what we need out of the room. I'm
Mhm.
not drafting a tight end. I'm just not
What
doing
about Super Hayward?
that.
I,
you know,
I'm
I
just throwing monkey wrenches. I'm just
uh,
throwing it out there, G.
how I feel about Super Hayward, man. He at first I wanted him cut, then he earned the job, and by the end of the season, I was like, if he scores a touchdown, we win the football game.
Here's the thing. The way
Yeah.
that the Steelers were using him at the end of the year, he can
Mhm.
do that. He got better as a blocker. They started
Yes.
using him as a H-back / fullback. He was
Mhm.
hunting out middle linebackers and blocking them because at the
Mhm.
beginning of the year, he was bad at blocking. Wouldn't block ends on counters and block back. He was bad. He got
Yeah.
better as the season went on. So
Yeah.
who knows? But yeah, we don't need any new tight ends. They just need to be used properly.
That's correct. Correct. And I think Hayward can definitely solidify a position on the 53-man roster when it comes time, B, for
Yep.
sure. So now, no, we don't need nobody. All right. I think offensive line, we're on the same two positions left tackle, left guard. I mean, those are the issues. I mean, I think the right side, we solved it. We've tossed around and thrown around different ways to try to solve this position. But on your priority, where are you at concerning offensive line,
I'm going to say 4.
man?
And the reason being is because just what you said, the left side is not solidified. First of all, we have nobody at left guard.
Mm-mm.
And I know some people, what about Spencer Anderson? You all watch Spencer Anderson play left guard.
Mm-mm.
I know what he did on the outside playing as an extra tight end. That is
Mhm.
not left guard. When he was
Mhm.
at left guard, it did not look good. Okay. And
Mhm.
then left tackle. Okay. Did we see a big enough sample size of Dylan Cook? I
Mhm.
think we probably did. Did Dylan Cook play well? He did, except for the last game, but Troy Fautano didn't play well either in that game.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
but here's the thing, and keep in mind, people, this is key. Are you comparing Dylan Cook's play to other left tackles in the league? Or are you
Mm.
comparing Dylan Cook's play to what Broderick Jones put out there? Because there is
Mm.
a huge difference. Because if it's compared to Broderick Jones, then you're like, okay, we got our guy. But
Mhm.
if you compare him to all the other left tackles in the league, do you want to settle for that? That's
Mhm.
all I'm asking. So, and I'm not even saying that he played bad. I want you guys to decide that and let us know because I think it's you don't want to settle. You heard what I said, competition, and so I'm not ready to just say Dylan Cook should be the starting left tackle. I need him to win the job, and if he does,
Mhm.
great, great.
Yeah. B, I think this is the only one I might be different from you. I'm in a DEFCON 5 for left tackle. I mean, listen, we gotta solve the left. It has to be solved, man. I'm tired of this. This doesn't make sense. We missed. Let's be clear. We missed with Broderick Jones. We missed.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
missed. Whether people believe it or not, we missed that position.
Yes.
So we have to go back into the draft. And I know Steeler fans will be like, oh, I don't want that. Why are we doing this, that, and this? If your offensive line's not solved, your ability to play good, solid football in NFL decreases dramatically. You're actually going to suck. So the
Well, we
deal
just
is,
watched it, G. We the
yes,
Texans game. The offensive
yes,
line got their ass kicked, and the Steelers couldn't move the football.
exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. So I listen. I'm always for prioritizing, but but make sure the people in the chat, make sure you respond to that. And you say because you might say, "Gee, you would be crazy," but I don't care because it's telling the truth. If the line ain't solved, you're in trouble. All right,
Yep.
B. Edges, defensive line. Where we at? Priority. Then I think there's gonna be some changes and shakeup in that room too, B. By the way, but where
I
we
do
at, man?
too. I do too, but I still think as far as what we need,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if the Steelers just ran it back with everybody, that would be fine. I think there's, before the season, there was about 85% of people said we got to re-sign TJ Watt. We got to keep him a Steeler for life.
Mm-hmm.
After the season, it's about 60% of Steeler fans are like, nope. We got to trade
Mm-hmm.
T.J. Watt. It's time to
Mm-hmm.
move on. So
Mm-hmm.
that has absolutely flipped.
Uh-huh.
And the one thing that I'm not hearing from Steeler fans, nobody's lying about what happened. They're not
Yeah.
saying, well, TJ got hurt and so his production was down. Nobody's saying that. They're like, yeah, we watched it. It
Yeah.
was not the same.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the same. And a lot of people tried to throw out the Myles Garrett thing. And, well, TJ's double teamed and he's triple teamed and he's chipped more than anybody in the league. Well, then when you actually went to the percentages and looked, no, he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. He wasn't
Mm-hmm.
chipped more than Myles Garrett. He wasn't double team more than Myles Garrett or triple team
Mm-hmm.
more than Myles Garrett. It was less, and Myles Garrett set the damn sack record. So
Facts.
that's all we're talking. And we're talking about pass plays only. We're not
Mm-hmm.
talking about run plays. We're talking about pass plays. Who was chipped the most, double team the most, triple team the most? It was Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, then T.J. Watt. And again, Myles Garrett set the damn sack record. So the production just wasn't there. So for me, the alert, it's probably a 2.
Yeah.
Because I think we've got guys. And again, TJ's not a bad player, so I don't want anybody to think I'm saying he's bad. It's just not $41 million worth it. That's all.
And B, let's be clear. And isn't it amazing how when Coach Tomlin walks out the door, some of the narrative concerning Watt has changed? Because as long as Coach Tomlin was there, he was untouchable. We can't trade T.J. Watt. Mike Tomlin walks out the door. Oh, now we can get off of him. We can get him out of here. We can do. That's unbelievable how the narrative has just switched on T.J. Watt in about a week. Well, he was going to be a lifelong Hall of Fame Steeler. Now let's trade him. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
Unbelievable, man. All right, man. Linebackers. Let me just say this. I'm damn near to DEFCON 5, but I'll let you go. I'm damn near to DEFCON 5, man. I can't take it, B. I can't take it.
Yeah,
where you at, man, with the linebackers?
It's an easy DEFCON 4. Teetering on 5 because what we saw out of the linebacker room this year was absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. We thought Peyton Wilson was going to take a step forward. He took a step forward, but not near enough. It was like a baby step forward. And we needed him to take a leap forward. He did not do that. Patrick Queen, again, was the same Patrick Queen. Now, I will say this. There's a narrative out there, G, that saying that it was Mike Tomlin's system. And that's the reason that Patrick Queen's not the same guy, is that when he was good with the Ravens, he was in a 4-3 system. And now that he's in a 3-4 and he's got to shed backers and do that versus just running side to side, he's not as effective. That might be it. But then my question is, why the hell did you come to Pittsburgh when you knew they ran a 3-4? Like, what are you doing? So,
facts.
But either way, I'm at a 4 because I've said it already, and I'm not hiding anything. Patrick Queen got to go. $13 million Steelers can save on the salary cap. Time to move on. I don't care if it was Mike Tomlin's system or not. And oh, by the way, he was an all-pro. I get it. Second team all-pro. Do we got Roquan Smith? No, we don't. And that's who he was playing next to, where he became a second team all-pro. So I don't want to discredit the season that he had, but we didn't see anything like that in the 2 years he was with the Steelers. Got to go. And then Malik Harrison, we don't need to bring him back. We need to rebuild the linebacker room.
Yeah, facts, man. And for $13 million, we might be able to get 2 of them. Damn to put together the same production. I ain't doing it. Now, B, I know this one. This one I know. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just get your reaction because I know where you at with this room. Cornerback, man. Cornerback.
I think it's pretty low, G. It's just a matter of where the Steelers want to spend the money. I'm at it like a 1 on cornerbacks because, look, Joey Porter Jr. is going to get paid this offseason, and he deserves it. It's time to extend him. You're either going to sign James Pierre, who was rated the highest-rated corner in the damn league, or Asante Samuel Jr. While he was out there, we didn't see a big sample size. He was out there, and I think you probably still sign him, even if you do give money to James Pierre. So, yeah, I mean, and Brandon Echols, look, 3/4 of the season, Brandon Echols was good. Yes. The last quarter of the season, Brandon Echols wasn't good. Most people are only going to remember he got torched against Houston. My God, Christian Kirk made him look like an absolute imbecile out there. That's the truth. I go, but for 3/4 of the season, he was a good football player. So cornerback is low for me, G. It's a 1, maybe 1.5. I think the Steelers have the pieces in place. They just, again, you got to decide who you're going to pay, and maybe you pay both, because good teams have 2 good corners, and a lot of times those guys are making decent money. One's making a big money, and the other guy's making decent money, and I think we got that opportunity. Joey Porter Jr. probably, because he's younger, probably gets the big money, but James Pierre gets some decent money, and then we move on.
Man, B, and that's when we get to that position room, when we start talking about drafting on a later on show down the road, that's going to be critical, because we're going to have to, like you're saying, between Asante Samuel, between Eccles, between JPJ, between James Pierre, that is a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
But you have to do it in the modern NFL era. And we just got to make a decision. Do we spend this amount of money in that cornerback room? Because it's going to take up a lot if we decide to keep them all. So I get it. I get the DEFCON point with it. Safety. Where we at, B? Safety.
I would say 4. And the reason that I say 4 is Deshaun Elliott's coming back, but what's he going to look like? That's number 1. If he's 100% healthy, I trust Deshaun Elliott. Absolutely. But again, that's an if. Jalen Ramsey, we can't keep. Look, I would like to keep Jalen Ramsey on the team if he played free safety. I'd love to keep him, but he's got to take a massive pay cut. Massive pay cut. Is he going to be willing to do that? I don't know. I would like to think that he would, but I don't know if he's going to be willing to do that. And if he's not, then he's got to go. Can't be on the football team doing what he's doing. And again, part of that could be the Mike Tomlin system, you know, but we asked him to do less than what we were asking Minkah to do. Oh, by the way, did anybody see how Minkah Fitzpatrick played this year? They asked him to do more, and lo and behold, Minkah Fitzpatrick did more. And was still capable of doing it. We just weren't asking him to do anything. And that was my whole problem with it. Is like, you can't pay Minkah $18 million to just sit back there and be nothing. Just a free safety. You can pay somebody $2 or $3 million to do that. Now, it can't be Juan Thornhill, for crying out.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. No.
You know, the Steelers tried to start Juan Thornhill and Chuck Clark and Kyle Duggar. Like, none of those guys, Thornhill's already gone, but Chuck Clark and Kyle Duggar can't be on the Steelers team next year. They got to rebuild that safety room. So that's why I'm saying it's a 4.
Yeah, facts, man. And Jalen, $24 million. We just can't do it.
No.
All right, last position. We need a punter. I'm not even going to talk about a kicker. I'm talking about specifically, when you say special teams, we need a punter. DEFCON, where we at with punters, man?
I would say 4. Waitman's good at holding the ball for Boz, but I feel like there's a lot of people that can be good at that. And again, it's not like Boz has had him for like 4 or 5 years where you don't want to mess up the minutia and you know, the timing of everything. Waitman came in last year, you know, and now granted, Boz had the best year of his career, so maybe you don't, but the Steelers got to have a punter. Waitman was 15th in the league this year in net punt average. That's not good enough. Not good enough. I'm not opposed to keeping him, but he got to go win a battle. I mean, he supposedly won the battle this year. Okay, great. I need more. More.
Facts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're at, is fronting the DEFCON areas of where the position of need. We're making sure you're getting the understanding of where we're going concerning our mock draft 1.0. It's critical that you understand it, because now you understand the logic in our thinking for positions, because you might see us draft a player and you're like, man, what the hell are those guys thinking about? But the player draft is critical based on what we're looking at to see concerning the depth of the position. All right, we're going to start this off with, we're going to go picks 1 through 12. Let me be clear. There's no trades, because that's what a lot of Steelers is. Oh, we can trade up. We can get this and that. No. To do a true, clear mock draft, you work with what you have on hand. This ain't, fantasy land where I can trade 4 picks and go to 1. It doesn't work like that in the National Football League. And it's not going to work like that over here on the Draft Lab on Steelers Almighty. B, you put me in the catbird seat to host the show, I got to go pick 1. Pick 1 at pick 21 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Malachi Lemon, wide receiver, USC. 5'11", 195 pounds. Won the Biletnikoff Award. Has some of the best hands I've seen on film at a receiver his size. This kid is outstanding. Outstanding football player. And I literally believe that the Steelers could put him at any position, the X, the Y, and the Z, and he would succeed in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at wide receiver. I got lucky. He fell to me. I couldn't believe it. I was like, please let him follow me. Please let him follow me. Please let him follow me. And he failed. I was like, yes, Malachi Lemon. That's my pick, B. Who you got at 21, bro?
For me, my pick is Caleb Lomu from Utah. Look, he plays left tackle, and that's why I said bring in competition. He plays left tackle. He's a road grader, outstanding feet. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I know we've heard that before about Steelers. Oh, he's got raw talent. This guy doesn't have raw talent. He's got talent. He's played a lot at the position. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody can get better, but he doesn't have 12 starts under his career. He started the last 2 years at Utah and looked damn good doing it. So if the Steelers had an opportunity, if he falls to them, because I'm not sure he's going to make it to 21, but if he was at 18, I wouldn't be opposed to going up. I know we're not doing that in this draft. That's just how highly I think of him. And regardless of what you think about Dylan Cook or Broderick Jones, this guy is potentially better. You never know, obviously, until they get into an NFL system and all that stuff. But this guy would be better. So that's where I would go number one.
B, I mean, to be honest, so about this, as far as when I did my mock draft, he was sitting there. I just ranked the wide receiver position a little bit higher. And I was like, man, I can't pass on Lemon, man. I just can't. Even though I know at how critical that left tackle positions is. Or if he plays left or right, it don't matter. We slide him at right, flip flop tunnel. It doesn't matter. He's going to start at one of the tackles, man. So I get it, bro. I mean, I get it 150%. My next pick, bro, at pick 53, for all you Yenzies don't know, the next time we pick on the board is pick number 53. I address the tackle position. Isaiah Worrell, tackle out of the University of Oregon. I think I watched film on him. I just got done watching some all-22 film on him, and he stunk against Indiana. Let's be clear. He stunk against Indiana. But I saw when they play Indiana the first time, oh, man, great feet, and he's a big, big kid. I don't look at this kid as being a project. I think he can start day one at tackle. He's got great feet, great hands. He's a technician, right? And the main thing that I loved him is he's got such a low base. His base is low. He's got strong, powerful lower body. He doesn't allow people to get into him. He pushes them off. He pushes them, make them go way around the corner. And that's what we need in today's NFL. Let the guy run way around the corner. You don't give up that inside position for you to get to the quarterback, and you definitely have a stalemate when he come off the edge. So I love Isaiah Worrell. I think he's an outstanding football player from the University of Oregon at tackle, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick there, G. Again, it addresses a need. There's definite need regardless of what we got. And you can never have enough good offensive linemen. That is for sure. And you create competition. So I love it. My pick at number 53, Jeremy Bernard, wide receiver, Alabama, 6'1", 205, dynamic playmaker, led Alabama in receiving this year. It's what the Steelers need. Again, we got to rebuild the room. So get you some big athletic guys. His thing is after the catch. He can do things after the catch. We need some explosiveness, but he's a route runner too. So I like this pick. Again, rebuild the room, man, with some big playability.
Yeah. B, pick 3. It's pick number 76, right? You talk about rebuilding the room. We know we need to rebuild the linebacker room, right? And there was a certain guy I was hoping to please God, let him fall to me at 21 in the first round. I couldn't get him. So I'm like, okay, who actually could come into the Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker room, put on a green dot, and actually become a starter? I looked around. I've been watching tape, looking at all 22 film. I like Dontrell Lawson, linebacker. University of Alabama, 6'2", 230-pound linebacker. He plays sideline to sideline. He's a true middle, right? Because you know how sometimes they go and they want to convert an edge to a middle, an outside
Right.
linebacker to a middle. No, I want a guy that plays the position and can put his team in the right set and the right formation, and he understands the communication that goes on from the coaching on the sideline to getting the players in the right position, right? And the biggest thing I liked about his film, B, is he runs downhill. This kid is a downhill guy. Go get the running back. Go get the quarterback. There's no hesitation in his ability to get to the ball. So I like him in the third round. It might not be that high as far as a position of need, but you know how it goes in the draft. You just can't pass on best player available. He was the best guy there, so I took him at my pick in the third round. Bro, your pick, man.
Gotcha. At 76, first of all, I like that pick a lot. Again, you need a guy that can communicate and play fast and go downhill at linebacker. But I went safety here. I went A.J. Halsey from LSU, 6 foot,
Yeah.
215, tackling machine, and a ball hawk. He led
Yeah.
in pass efficiency for a defensive player in the nation this past year
Yeah.
at the safety position. So that's something, like I said, we got to rebuild the room. You got a guy that can tackle, and he's a ball hawk. I like A.J. Halsey at this position, G.
Man, I like him. Listen, I watched some tape on him recently, man. And
Yeah.
because LSU's always got sprinkles of NFL players. I love that Harold Perkins dude, but I just don't think he fits with us. I think he's a great player. So when I was watching Perkins, I was like, man, that dude can play. So he could play the position for us. So I'm digging that pick, man. B, pick 85. We got a double dip at wide receiver. I mean, you said triple dip. I mean, you out there triple dipping, quadruple dipping. The whole draft, wide receivers, right? But I looked around it and I saw the fourth round pick for us at pick 85, or third round pick for us at pick 85. And I was like, man, there's a dude sitting there that's a playmaker. And he played at two schools and he did his business at two schools. Man, give me Zachariah Branch, wide receiver out of University of Georgia, man. Man, he's explosive. He is literally explosive. He's a walking touchdown. You just got to draw it up for him to be able to get the ball in his hands by any means necessary. You can jet sweep this guy. I saw him line up in the backfield at the University of Georgia. He's not scared of contact. He runs those hard in-between zone catches that you got to make where you know the safety's going to blow you up. He's not scared to go across the middle, and he's got an outstanding set of hands. I mean, he made Gunnar Stockton actually look like an NFL pick. And I'm like, man, Gunnar Stockton's that good. But Zachariah Branch is that good, man. I'm picking Zachariah Branch at picks number 85 out of the University of Georgia at wide receiver, man.
You know, I like the pick. I like explosiveness. He reminds me of Luther Burton III that got drafted from Chicago. Reminds me of that. A guy that maybe isn't that big, but number one, not afraid of contact, and you just need to get the ball in their hands, and he can make something happen. So I like that. Where I went at number 85, speaking of Harold Perkins, I took Harold Perkins.
Yeah,
6'1", 200 pounds. First of all, he's a speed demon.
Yes.
Okay? He's an absolute speed demon. Makes a lot of explosive defensive plays. And he's a hybrid linebacker because he can also play the edge. So the only issue that I have is, can he be – I think he would be a better – if the Steelers flip their philosophy and they move to the 4-3, he can play the will linebacker for you.
Yes.
Now, if the Steelers stay in the 3-4, I don't know if he can be an inside linebacker, an every down inside linebacker. But if they go to 4-3, he can absolutely be your will, and he can rush the pay. He can do some stuff. Harold Perkins can play football, G.
Yeah, hey man, I told you. I mean, we listen. So all you guys know out there, me and B didn't compare notes before we drafted.
No.
So great minds think alike. And when I was watching Harold Perkins, I'm like, oh Lord, and then B saw that safety, and I was like, oh God. And I was like, I don't know if he fits in our current scheme, but you're correct. If we switch schemes, next pick for me, B. Remember we talked about, are we going to spend money in the cornerback room? Right? I don't know if we can spend. Man, that's a lot of bread, bro. So that means that we're going to have to pick a corner. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to have to pick a corner, right? I started looking at corners. I started looking at position of corners. And I was like, okay, what are the Steelers like? Well, they sort of like avatars. So if I'm going to get an avatar with my pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the next round,
Mm-hmm.
give me at pick 99, Tarkeo Davis, cornerback, University of Washington. 6'4", 200-pound corner. Let me repeat that again. 6'4", 200-pound corner. Runs a 4.51. I'm hearing he's going to test in the 4.4s. Man, if we get a guy that's 6'4", 200 that's a ball hawk, and he's not handsy. I
Right.
watched film what he did against Jeremiah Smith. I was like, okay. I watched what he did against some of them USC wide receivers. I was like, okay, Oregon wide receivers, yeah, this kid can play. He can run with those little speedy guys on the inside, but he definitely is going to take the outside guy. He wants to cover the number one wide receiver. So
I
if we're
like
not
it.
going to spend all that bread in that room, give me Tarkeo Davis, man. Cornerback,
Yeah.
University of Washington.
Even if the Steelers do, I don't think it's out of the realm that they draft a corner, because you can't have enough good corners.
Yeah.
There's certain positions that you can say, okay, hold up, we don't need 75 of these guys. Corner's
Yeah.
not one of them. You can take
Facts.
100 corners, man. So I like the pick. For
Mhm.
me at 99, I went with Dante Corleone, the Godfather out of Cincinnati.
The Godfather.
6'1". First of all, he's 6'1", about 335. Okay.
Oh, my God.
That-
Oh, my
yeah.
God. Oh, my God.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And he is a nose tackle. Steeler fans have been screaming about getting a real nose tackle. This guy is it. He's not a hybrid. He's not, well, we're going to put him at it. No, 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 no. He
Yeah.
is a true nose tackle, eats double teams. That's the whole thing. He just eats them up, doesn't get moved off the line of scrimmage, not going to be a pinball around in there. Not this guy. Now, is he going to do a ton in the pass game to get you a ton of pass rush? No, he's not. But if you single block him, he can handle your center.
Yeah.
I go, but this guy is a true run stuffing guy. He's an interior guy. He was All-American in 2022. Now, here's the thing. He had some blood clots in 2024, and he was healthy, but mentally. You know how you get some blood clots mentally as a kid. That's tough to come back from. He was back 100% this last year, raising hell. So that's why I'll go at 99, G.
Man, I mean, I literally love that pick, man. I mean, I've been crying forever. Since Casey Hampton went, bro. What the hell have we been doing at that nose tackle position, man? Dog, you ain't moving this dude.
No.
You ain't moving him. You're not moving him. So man, listen, I'll take it. And you put in with Black and Harmon? And if Hayward decides to come back, oh my God.
You got something.
Yeah, we cooking with gas.
Even if you can kick Benton out to a 3-tech, which is where he needs to be. You're cooking at that point, G.
Yeah, man. Yeah. B. Now this pick right here, so I had to do some research on the kid, okay? And because you know how I feel about projects. I need production over productivity, right? I'm not reaching, I'm not taking no pick or a guy that I think is a project, right? So I actually did some research, sat and watched some film, looked at grades, listened to some of the quote-unquote experts talk about what this kid actually can be. I know we need help at the offensive line, right? That pick number 121, and I think he's going to slide, not because of anything else, just because he doesn't have a lot of snaps. As for Beachy Nawawu, offensive guard, Oklahoma University. His tape is out freaking standing, man. And listen, I'm not saying he's like big boy for the Dallas Cowboys, a Booker. But he's close, and I'll take it. He freaking mauls people, bro. He's huge. He's huge. He's like 336. And he's got huge hands. And I was like, oh my God. I literally thought that this kid could actually slide into play tackle. And you don't transition like that. And you don't go from guard to tackle. But I was looking at his size and I was like, oh my God. He's a mauler. And I need a nasty guard, dog. I need a guard that's nasty. And let me tell you something, Yenzies. You know, all y'all was Mason McCormick was this, that, and this, and he can do ABC and do. This kid is nastier than Mason McCormick. And he has got better technique than Mason McCormick. And he played at a higher level than Mason McCormick. He played at Oklahoma. He was killing people. Listen, I saw him give Anthony Hill from Texas the business. I saw Simmons trying to run around the edge, and he gave him the business. I was like, oh yeah, I need this kid on my team, man. Man, run it. Run that Oklahoma kid at guard, man. He could be a day one starter for us, B. I'm liking the fact that he could be. He could come in and actually fight for that position and give us an opportunity, man.
Yeah, I mean, he started the last 2 years. I like him. That is a great pick. And you're right. He's big and he's mean. And that's the thing. You got to be on the guard position in the National Football League. You've got to be mean. You got to have a mean streak. If you don't, you got problems. This kid's got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Got to take
121, G, I went outside on the defense. I went to the cornerback position. Will Lee, he's out of Texas A&M, 6'3", 193. So super long. Now, he's a transfer from Kansas State. I saw him play there, and he was good. That was a transfer that K-State didn't want to get away, and he got away. And look, he's kind of in the Joey Porter Jr. mold. Long arms, long body, can run, can defend, very good in the press. Is not handsy, though, like Joey Porter Jr. And I think he's a better, as far as with his hands, and he's got better ball skills than Joey Porter Jr. So he's not as good. So I don't want anybody for me to tell you that he's as good as him. He's not as good, and he wasn't as good coming out of college either. He's not. But he kind of reminds you of that body type and can play press coverage. I like him, G. I like this kid. Again, can't have enough corners, man.
Right. And corner's critical. If you guys didn't see earlier in the show, corner's a priority. I mean, we understand it's DEFCON 1 or 2. However, if we don't pay, it probably moves to a 5. So you need a corner. Quick, fast, in a hurry. B, you're going to love this pick, dog. You're going to love this pick. And man, you talked a little bit about this guy. I asked you about him, so I knew you figured I was going to try to take him, right? Because, you know, and I got to admit, I got hate sometime on my heart for other conferences. You know, I'm biased when it comes to the Big Ten, right? And I say this conference can't do that and this conference can't do this. But I actually started watching tape, man. Let's be clear. Texas Tech University had the best defense in the whole freaking country last year. They was unbelievable, right? Indiana was good. Ohio State was good. But Tech was unbelievable. Who was their leader? Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker. Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker, Texas Tech University. Man, you run this kid to the middle. Now, B, some people say he can't play green dot in the NFL. I don't know. But the kid plays tough, man. He's tough. And like, you're not getting by him. He's going to literally try to kill you. Either you're going out of the game or he's going out of the game. Somebody's going out of the game, man. And, dog, his tape was outstanding. I was like, this kid might have been the best linebacker in the whole college football. Now, his size, I get it. You know, he's not 6'3", 6'4". He's not like that. But he's a 6'1", 6'2" kid that I think is going to get a shot to start at middle linebacker in the NFL, bro. So give me Rodriguez, bro.
Well, here's another guy that happens to be in the NFL Hall of Fame that wasn't a big linebacker. He was even shorter than this. It was Zach Thomas. He went to Texas Tech too. And all he was in the NFL was a tackling machine, could cover. So the measurables and the combine is not going to do Jacob Rodriguez justice. It's just not, because people are going to look at that and they're going to say, well, you look at his size, and can that translate? His heart translates. His tape absolutely translates. So if that's what we're doing, then that's fine. But I like that pick, G.
Yeah.
At 135, I went C.J. Daniels from Miami. Big receiver, a 6'2", 205, big play receiver. But the thing about him, the catch radius, gigantic catch radius. Somebody that, and again, if you got a big catch radius, means you got good hands as well.
Yeah.
And we need something like that. Again, rebuild the wide receiver room, G. I'm there with it. I like this kid. Got a lot of potential. If they could just work with him a little bit on his routes, which they'll be able to do, get in the league. But again, there's plenty of guys in the National Football League that aren't the best at running route trees that carve out a 7 to 9 year career in the NFL. Plenty of those guys that you need on your football team. He's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I like him, B. I do like his catch radius. I do like him. And you know at the NFL, the one thing that players always do is they get better at running routes because they get coached up. That's the one thing they get coached up at. So if he's got the radius, he's got the speed, he knows how to get the wiggle room to get open. He's not scared to run across the middle. Roll it. Roll the dice, man. We got to have guys that can run crossing routes and get open. Listen, if you look at the teams now left in the playoffs, that's what they got. They got a bunch of guys that run in the middle of the freaking field and ain't scared to get cracked. That's
and they actually throw it in the middle of the field. Imagine that.
Yes. Exactly. No lava, no more. Bye-bye, Mike Tomlin. We appreciate you, but no lava no more. All right, B. I seen you take a DT earlier. I seen you take one earlier, right? It wasn't as high as my priority list because we got a lot of rooks in there, a lot of young guys. But for some reason, Cameron Hayward says, man, I got to go. I think we got his replacement in Harmon, but you got to build depth. So now I take a defensive tackle, Chris McClellan, out of the University of Maryland. You talk about another tree stump. Another tree stump, a 6'2", 330-pound defensive tackle. You're not going to freaking move him. You're going to have to hit him with the center and the guard every time. He's a fire hydrant sitting in the middle of the thing. And listen, when he played against better competition, like when Maryland played against Ohio State or they played against Michigan or they played against Penn State, because this kid's played for a while, and you watch his film when they play better competition. B, a lot of times when the competition goes up, guys' tape goes away. This kid's tape doesn't go away, bro. This kid's tape shows that he can play big boy ball. And I like that ability to be able to play big boy ball in the National Football League. So you're not going to move him. You're going to have to be super strong, and you just need a fire hydrant in the middle. You got to have a guy that's going to take a double team every time. Once again, when you start talking about teams still left in the playoffs, ain't that what's going on right now? You can't block the Seattle Seahawks front four. Hell, you can't block the Broncos front four. You can't block the damn Patriots front four. You can't block them. So yeah, and the Rams. Oh my God. oh my God. So yeah, you gotta have a guy that's going to take up that space. So give me that D tackle, bro. Give me that D tackle with that pick, man.
Absolutely. At 159, I went interior offensive lineman out of Georgia Tech, Keelan Rutledge.
Yes.
6'3", 310. He's technically sound. That's the thing that I like about him. Didn't allow a sack in over 800 snaps during 2025. I like this guy. Again, we've got some guards. I mean, we talk about Mason McCormick all the time. And while we love Mason McCormick, his technique, not great. This guy's technique, very, very good. Now, I'm not sure that he's got the mean streak and the motor. Now, you're not teaching a mean streak. Either you got it or you don't. Same thing with a motor. But this kid knows how to play football. So I will take a football player that's got technique. Again, 800 snaps and no sacks given up at that level of college football. Yeah, I like that guy on my interior line, G.
Yeah, I like it, B. I like it a lot. And like you said, there's certain rooms and certain positions we have to build up depth. This is one of those rooms. This is one of those positions. So I like it. I like the pick, man. B, I'm about to be diabolical with the draft. I'm not scared to do it, B. I'm not scared to do it. Right? At pick 213. Listen, we got a room that's DEFCON. That's DEFCON 5. We got a room that's DEFCON 5. It's the quarterback room. Right? Now, I know that they're going to bring in probably a veteran. They should, at least. I don't know, but they should bring in a veteran. They should bring in competition. I'm saying let's draft some competition. But this is going to get Yinzies. Either you're going to be with me or you're going to be against me on this one. At pick 213, give me Drew Aller, quarterback, Penn State University. He's worth it.
I don't hate it.
At 213. He's worth it, B. At pick 213, give me Drew Aller. If he's sitting on the board at quarterback. Drew Aller had a horrible season at the beginning of this year. He had injuries. I heard he was playing with injuries, and they didn't let that out. I heard that he was hurt early, And like he tried to push through it and he just got worse and worse and worse. And his tape looked like it. And finally he was just out for the season. Go back and look at his tape the year before. And matter of fact, outside of that tight end named Ty Warren that plays for the Indianapolis Colts, tell me one dude he's thrown the ball to. Unlike Will Howard that had all world players that he was running with, Drew Aller wasn't running with nobody and was getting the job done over at Penn State University. Now, he can't help it that James Franklin can't win a big game. But Drew Aller played well enough to win big games. He can't help that, right? So my draft lab one. I need competition. I'm drafting a quarterback. Give me Drew Aller out of Penn State, man, at pick 213. Run it. Run Drew Aller. Run it.
I don't hate it at all. Again, competition. And granted, we already talked about got to have a veteran to bring in competition. Whether they do or don't, that's a different conversation. But bringing in more competition, okay, let the best man win. Yeah. Let the best man win. So I like it. At 213 for me, I went back to corner. Christian Gray out of Notre Dame, 6 foot 190. He's fast. That's the thing. He is super fast and great ball skills. Can't get enough of that as far as a cornerback is concerned. So the one thing is last year he clinched the playoff bid for the Irish with a 99-yard pick six against USC. I don't know if anybody remembers that or not. But that's what I like. I like him. I think his thing is he's got a track background, and he's 6 foot. So if you got a track background, means you can run. You can also catch, and you're 6 foot, 190. Like, we take a flyer on that. I like that. So I'm a Christian Gray, corner out of Notre Dame.
I actually seen that kid play in person, man. He's an NFL player. I saw him play in person. He's an NFL player. So I like that pick, man. I like that pick a lot. All right, B, I'm going to your neck of woods and again, man. I don't know why I'm spending a lot of time in the Big 12, man. Look at the tape, man. I done got hooked on that Big 12, man. I'm like, man, the Big 12 got players down there, bro. I don't know what y'all talking about. You know, I was down there sneaking and looking at the quarterback and looking at a couple of the wide receivers, and I started watching on defense, man, right? If we get rid of Watt via trade or whatever we do, right? You got to have depth at the position of edge, right? I don't think it's DEFCON high, right? I don't think it's DEFCON high, but you got to have depth at the position of edge. Now, B, this is a guy I know you saw up close and personal. So I'm really anxious to see your reaction to when I say we drafting. The Pittsburgh Steelers select at pick 214, Cameron Robertson, edge, SMU University, right? I saw some tape, B. I was impressed. He could get after the quarterback. I was impressed. He could get after the quarterback. He's got strong hands. He can turn the corner. I saw him do a little inside move where he spun on a dude and got home. I was like, put that in your bag. Put that in your bag, bro. Put that in your bag. When the last time we seen a Steeler do an inside spin and get home? I saw him do it. And I was like, man, this kid, and I like his measurables too, B. He's not really small. He's actually sort of tall for an edge, but he carries his body weight well. You know, when you look at the edges, I start looking at how are you built? Are you a guy that if we draft you at that 250-pound mark, 255-pound mark, can you be like a Logan Lee? You know, can we add 10 pounds to you and you still keep that speed and be able to get that presence to get to the edge? This is one of those kids I think we can do that with the SMU. Now, he's a project, but he's a late-round pick. And I think next year Logan Lee's going to get snaps because he was a project. And we worked on his body. We got his body right. So we did the same thing with Kiesel, right? Remember that? We're going to do the same. We're going to do it again. So I like this pick. I like that kid out of SMU. I think he's got the body type, the frame, the mentality, and the motor to play at the next level of football, bro.
Absolutely. Love the pick again. Pass rushers. Can't have enough of them.
Yeah.
Me at 214, I went Cade McConnell, interior offensive lineman out of Vanderbilt. This guy's gigantic. Yeah. Again, another big one. 6'5", 323.
Oh, my God.
Played a little guard and tackle. And that's what he brings, just a massive presence on the inside. And like I said, brings a lot of power, a lot of size to the interior line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like the pick. Again, more competition, the better.
Yeah, loving it, bro. I mean, listen, anybody that says our drafts are trash, you done lost your mind. I can't wait till I see that your drafts are trash. I can't wait till I see that in the chat, man. I'll be like, what do you mean? What do you mean? We're killing it right now, man. All right, B, we got 2 picks to go. Pick 224. You said we need safety help. I think we need safety help, right? B, you know what happens a lot of times for this team that I'm talking about? When you actually go start looking at tape, they have NFL players everywhere, especially on the defensive side of the ball, right? The Iowa Hawkeyes keep safeties. They do. They do.
Productive ones too.
That's correct. That's correct. Hell, we had one on our practice squad, and you know how things happen in the NFL. So, I don't think we're going to let this kid walk, even at pick 224. Give me Xavier Wampa, safety, Iowa University. He's big. He's not a little safety. He's like 6'1" and some change. And he's got downhill ability. And B, he doesn't suck in pass coverage. I saw them where I started paying attention, not in the regular season, but I started watching them from the bowl game backwards. So I went to the Vanderbilt tape and I looked. He was killing them. He was literally killing them. He was killing them. Right? So I was like, okay, he might be a player. So I started looking backwards. I was like, yeah. And this kid, I don't think he'll be there that late. I'm gonna just be clear. I just lucked up. I think he's got a 5th round grade, maybe, possibly late 4th round grade. This kid can play football, man. But if he's sitting there at 224, that is a freaking steal for the Pittsburgh Steelers that late in the draft. So give me him, man. Give me the safety out of Iowa. The kid can play football.
Absolutely love it. 224, I went Daquan Wright, tight end out of Ole Miss. 6'4", 250. Now, here's the thing. At 224, it's tough especially with all the draft picks that the Pittsburgh Steelers have, it's real tough for somebody here to make the team. Mm-hmm. However, this guy, he's got a track and a basketball background. He was a speed guy. He ran almost the sub 11 at 6'4", 250. So, in track in high school. So he's a transfer from Virginia Tech. He is basically your quintessential. He's going to be a wide receiver. He is basically he's a wide receiver playing tight end because of how big he is. So he is a mismatch in the red zone. Again, in the red zone, you can throw it up because this guy can go jump and go get the ball because, again, his basketball background. So I'm not sure he's really even going to last this long, G, to 224. I'll be quite honest. I'm not sure he's going to last this long. But if he does and the Steelers can get him, this would be a guy that you said, yeah, they got him late, but he's going to make the team and make a difference because especially if the Steelers get off of Jonnu Smith, which I suspect they're going to do. If they do that, then, here's a guy that can be that extra tight end. And, again, if we're rebuilding the wide receiver room, rebuild it. More pass catchers, the better, man, especially ones that are fast and athletic and big.
Yeah, man. Listen, B, that's where I'm going with my pick 220. Because I thought about it and we even prefaced it. Like, they didn't use their tight ends right. But man, we can't pay Jonnu Smith. We just can't. We just can't. And as much as I like Super Hayward, I think he can play and whatnot. We'll see. So that gives us 2, and we're going to have to get a third one, man. And that's why I went with my last pick of the draft. I started watching SEC film. Oh, God. Oh, God. It seems like every year I got to go watch SEC film. And, so, of course, I still go with the top teams, the Texas A&Ms, the Alabamas, the Georgias. And I start looking around, man. Saw a tight end that's an NFL player at Texas A&M University, Nate Brockenricker. Now, he in the playoff game, he was hurt. He was injured, right? But outside of Concepcion, he was the most consistent wide receiver for Texas A&M University, wide receiver tight end for Texas A&M University. Matter of fact, when he wasn't in the game, Marcel Reed looked really bad because that was his outlet. That was his safety net. He threw the ball to that tight end, man. And the tight end made big plays. When they had that big comeback against South Carolina University, he kicked it off. He kicked it off. He went on a seam route and scored. And I was like, uh-oh. And it was like avalanche downhill. Here we go. But B, what I like about him more than anything, he can freaking block.
Right.
He can block. Like, he actually can block. I know there's been, we talk about can move block. We talk about can Hayward block. We know damn for sure Jonnu Smith can't block worth a lick, right? Now Super Hayward, Washington can block. But,
right.
If we don't have to put Spencer Anderson out there to be big or play big, if that's the style that the new offensive coordinator and the coach want to run, this is a kid that can do that, right? I like his size, his strength, his catch radius, and he's tough. Like you said, it's hard to make the team with that late in the draft, but I'm running with him. I'm running with the last pick off the board, man. Let me get your last pick, B.
237, Trey Moore, edge out of Texas, 6'3", 245. He's a transfer from UT San Antonio, productive pass rusher. He broke a lot of tackles for loss and records at UT San Antonio before he went to Texas. He's a high motor kind of a pursuit guy. Again, probably a project, I'll be quite honest with you, but this late in the draft, you can take a chance on a project like that, and who knows what he could do. He might end up having more skills than what you anticipate once you get somebody with a high motor out there on the practice field. He might have more skills, or maybe he's easy to teach. Very teachable football player that, again, you can't teach motor. And if he already has that, and then it's like, okay, well, let's fine tune some technique stuff for you. Oh, we got a player. That's why you take a guy like this, somebody a high effort guy that this late in the draft, if you can teach him some stuff, you may have a player. So I like Trey Moore.
Man, sounds like a win to me, man. Sounds like a win to me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Draft 1.0 is in the books. Now, let's be clear. It's probably by the time me and Big B get to the mid, and oh God, by the time we get to the end, if our draft boards look the same based on pre-draft evaluation, then we're shutting the channel down because we didn't do our job over here and looking at from analysis standpoint of picking players that will fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But hey, 1.0 is in the books. Now listen, this show will be live every Friday, not live, pre-recorded, set up for you to watch every Friday here on Steelers Almighty, man. Me and Big B will chop it up. We're going to go position by position. This next show, is going to be the quarterback draft position. B, I think we're going to tangle in the room. I think we're going to move some furniture around. I really do. Because if you guys, I wish we could have recorded our pre-talk when we started talking about the quarterback position and what it's going to take to do in Pittsburgh. And I would be with a lot of ways. And listen, to be honest, I'm just tired of kicking the can down the road, man. I can't do it anymore. Get us a quarterback, man. So next week, we're going to start with the quarterback position. We're not going to kick the can down the road. We're going to deep dive into what the Steelers can do, what they can draft, what they can bring in from a free agent standpoint to try to fix the quarterback room for 2026 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. B, man, your final thoughts as we close out the Draft Lab 1.0 on Steelers Almighty, bro.
Don't be afraid to take the best player available no matter what position he plays for the Pittsburgh. Don't be afraid to take the best player. You think you got somebody at the position, maybe you can move them over. If they're a right tackle, maybe they can play left. I'm pretty against, hey, we drafted this left tackle like Broderick Jones. We tried to make him a right. I'm usually against that. With so many holes and things that the Pittsburgh Steelers have, especially offensive line, we got to be willing to put the best 5 guys out there and figure it out as we go. And when you get to this level, it shouldn't just be, well, I can only do this. Well, okay, fine. I get that maybe you're better at this, but whatever the case may be, just don't be afraid to take the best person. Whoever the best player is available, don't be afraid to do that. You'll hear me say a lot as this series goes on, people.
Absolutely, man. B is 100%. B out there preaching. I'm going to give me a sign that says preach. He'd be out here preaching, man. So absolutely, man. Listen, we thank all you guys for rocking with us over here on Steelers Almighty Draft Lab 1.0. Make sure you go back and check out all the content on Steelers Almighty. We got a live show that me and my boy Big B do every Tuesday with the big show. But there's live content, there's recorded content, there's content that's specifically for memberships. And we talk about memberships all the time over here on Almighty. Make sure you sign up for a membership and give yourself an opportunity to check out some of that exclusive content. And while you're over there on the website, don't forget about the Steelers Almighty merchandise, man. Listen, it's some diabolical stuff over there, man. It's t-shirts, mugs, hats, a lot of stuff that we say on the show, man. But we do an outstanding job with designing stuff to give to our people, because we know that without your support, we would not be what we are here on Steelers Almighty. Listen, man, that's my boy for Big B and for your boy Big G. Thank you for joining us on this initial First Draft Lab 1.0 on Steelers Almighty. We'll check you guys next Friday. Thanks for joining and rocking with us. We'll see you. Have a good one. Peace.